We live.
We live. What's up, everybody?
What's good? What's good? Y'all come on in. It's the Over 30 Podcast.
Over 30 Podcast.
And we in here. We back with another one, another Tuesday. So this is actually episode 8. I had to go back and redo the numbering because we
It's
skipped
episode
episode
8
6.
today.
It's
Oh,
episode 8
shit.
today. Yes, man.
It's episode
It's the
8.
Over 30 Podcast, episode 8.
I'm getting
So
my
that's what
sage
it's
lit.
and this is officially our third episode together, right?
Or
Four.
fourth or fifth.
Four. Is it fifth?
It's
No,
fifth.
you're right. I think it's a fourth. Because if this the eighth, me and Tez did 3, and then we had in that third show we had you on
Oh,
the
the
we had
guest.
you on the
Okay,
show.
so
Yeah,
that's what. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. But we in here back for another one. We're gonna give it time for y'all to come on in before we get started in the conversation. How are you doing? I see you got your sage burning, you got
I
your
got my
incense,
sage.
you got the
But
energy.
I got the energy moving up in here. I got my candles, my crystals, my
Hey, and I came
sage.
correct. I'm learning. I don't
Look
know
at
what
you.
this is, y'all. I don't know what this is, y'all, but check it out. My wife be holding on to it. She say it means something. So I was just like, I'm gonna be in the mix. I'm gonna get it right. I got mine in here. So like all of the energies, the
All the
chakras,
energies. I do.
it's, the third eyes are opening. You know what I'm saying? We in here.
I got my
And hey,
selenite.
and for my Christian folk, the spirit is here. You know
The
what
spirit,
I'm saying?
the
The spirit
spirit
is
of
here.
the Lord.
Yeah,
The spirit of
yeah.
the Lord. Now
So
we
it's all
here.
in the mix. How was your weekend?
My weekend was beautiful. How was yours?
It was It was cool. It was laid back. I
Yeah.
went baby shopping,
Uh-huh.
like for strollers and all that shit. So shit got real, you know what I'm
That's
saying, and
always,
confusing.
yeah. That's always fun.
Oh,
That's
let me
always
while
fun.
people coming on, I'm gonna go
Oh,
ahead
let me go
and
share it.
share it. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna go share it too.
you do that. And then hey, while y'all in here, y'all share it as well, just so we can make sure everybody get the opportunity to see it. This is a good conversation that's going to take place today. Today we are discussing colorisms in Black relationship, or colorisms in relationships. You know what I mean? What impact do y'all think? Over 30 question of the day. We're gonna get into that, but we're gonna know, what do y'all think about the light skin, dark skin thing? You know what I'm saying? Preferences, all of that. Where y'all mind at in terms of that? What y'all thinking about? What impact do it have today? That's what we're gonna be getting into. So let's go ahead and get this shared. Um, and we want to hear from y'all too. We want to hear from y'all. Wait, once we get into that question, which we'll jump into right when she get back. Once we get into that question, uh, but be thinking about that. We also gonna be paying respect to Chadwick Boseman. For y'all that don't know, I'm a huge comic book fan. Been a comic book nerd my whole life. So there's some things I want to speak on, things I want to touch on from an over 30 perspective. I mean, certain phenomenon that's happening that I feel like is crazy because this brother for real left a legacy. So we definitely got to touch on that. So as soon as Tisha get back in here, we're gonna get it cracking. Because it's a dope conversation. It's a dope conversation, and it's the next conversation that we've had about relationships. Because we got shit we got to get understood. Let's be for real. We got shit we got to get understood. Is niggas still on that light skin, dark skin shit? Does that mean something? Hmm. I want to know. I want to know. And I blame the 90s. I blame the 90s. All that whole, what I'm saying, pretty motherfucker, you feel me? Light skin spooks, all that shit, you feel me? Like that shit came from them. In the 90s, they was tough with it. That's why we still run with it the way that we do. And as soon as we get Tisha back in here, we're gonna get into it. And as y'all come in, please like the video, share the video, and comment. That's how that motherfucker spread. If you don't follow us on YouTube, all you gotta do is go to the over. Hey, really, actually, if you Google the Over 30 podcast, we're gonna be the first thing to pop up. For real. We're gonna be the first thing to pop up. So if you don't like watching it on Facebook and you would prefer to watch it on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube page. And if you missed it on the live, you can go to the YouTube and watch it on the YouTube. It's there. is there. She is back.
I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, because you know they get tired of listening to me and they start dipping out and be like, all right, we're gonna come back when she gonna come back. Also, hey, I gotta do this just because like this is my nigga. I hung out with my nigga Marquise. He started his podcast. It's the Rousseau podcast. Once he get it up and going, we definitely gonna give him a shout out. But he wanted me to tell you that he said hi. You know what I'm saying? My nigga Marquise.
Marquise,
You feel me?
Marquise.
He
What's up,
he
Marquise?
commented last week. His Facebook name
Oh, I
is
see him. I
Genius.
seen.
Yeah.
I did see him. What's
Yeah, he
up,
had the long
Marquise?
shit.
Shout
Yeah,
out to
yeah,
Marquise. Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. I know who you are. I'm so sorry. I had a little moment, but
No, it's
what's
all
up? How you
good.
doing?
So yeah, so he said hi, and now we're gonna move on. Let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all, welcome to the Over 30 Podcast.
What's
Um,
up, people?
I am Damo, the political plug. You can find me on all social media at the political plug, and I am here with now. She has her own introduction.
What's
So
up,
let me
people?
let me run it back.
All
Let me
right,
run it
run it
back.
back.
Now I'm Damo, the political plug, and I am here to introduce you to.
Hey, what's up, people? I thought I was about to get a drum roll.
Yeah. Hey, nah, you supposed to get it in. You supposed to pick it
Oh.
up. Like it's a baton handoff, girl.
I was looking for a drum roll, but all right, what's up, people? It's your girl Infinite Omniscient. That's Infinite Omniscient on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find me at my personal page on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Infinite Stars Holistic Healing and Infinite Stars Incorporation. I'm sorry. Um, and this is your Over 30 podcast. We're here
Yes.
on YouTube.
Yes. We
We're
here
here
on
on
YouTube and
Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
And hey, also, it's a new month. That means we got the natal chart readings coming
spending
up.
time.
You know what I'm saying?
It is,
As soon as
yes.
we set that up, you know what I mean, we gonna
Happy
let y'all know.
September. Happy
Yeah,
September,
hey, the
people.
last natal chart reading was cracking.
It was
If
cracking.
y'all missed the
I got
last natal
saved
chart reading,
everywhere.
y'all missed out on some good shit. I learned a lot about myself. Unfortunately, the audience also learned a lot about me that I ain't really want them to know because I didn't know she was gonna get all that personal, but it is what it is. I do what I do for show. You know what I'm saying? But soon as we got the date locked in for when we're gonna do these next natal charts, you definitely gonna want to tune in to get your natal chart read. And she do this
Yeah,
professionally. So she's giving you a little piece.
I'm
She's
giving
giving you a
y'all a
little
little piece.
piece. And if
Yeah,
you got yours read last time, let the people know how real that shit was. You feel me? Let the people know how real
amazing.
that shit was. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right.
Let's do
We're
it.
gonna get into the over 30 question of the week. And actually, we got the boy George Lee in the building. This is my co-host to the Chop Up Show. For y'all that don't know, he in the building, and a part of this conversation stems from some drama he been dealing with as
Uh-oh.
a influencer on Instagram and Facebooks and all of that other shit. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and pose the question, the over 30 question of the week. That is, what impact do y'all think colorism plays in relationships today? What impact do y'all think colorism plays in
In
relationships
relationships
today?
today.
We want to hear from y'all. So y'all make sure y'all put that in the chat. But
Oh,
since we got the over 30 holistic expert who's also well versed in understanding relationships, she's got to
yes.
get things done.
I had a couple of relationships. I think I'm able to talk about this one.
You think you got okay,
I
okay.
think I
So
got
go
this
ahead.
subject.
So go ahead. Get the people. Go ahead. Let the people know.
Um, all right, so y'all know we had a few heartbreaks and heartaches. No, I'm just nah, but does colorism plays a role in a relationship? I think it does. I absolutely think it does. I think
Okay.
it does wholeheartedly. I think that women and men have their own preference as far as skin tone.
Mm-hmm.
I think it plays a huge role. I think sometimes a man wants a replica of their mother or what they see society um basically accentuating on and basically what they see society uplifting. And
Yeah.
when you see in the music videos a light skinned woman with beautiful hair, you see your favorite basketball player with a light skinned woman with beautiful hair.
She calling
And I'm
people
saying
out.
light skin with beautiful hair because that's all I see.
Mm,
That's all I've seen. Even if you want to go into the origins of this back in slavery days, that's who they had in the house. They treated
mm-hmm,
better if you were a lighter skin tone, if you had
mm-hmm,
if you had some beautiful hair. And even you want to go back to the slavery days, that's where those are the slaves that they mostly got pregnant or wanted to get pregnant. That was more desirable.
mm-hmm.
So it trickles on down to today's time when you have men, and that's the only you know sex I've dealt with, so excuse me if I say
I know.
men.
Oh, listen.
I've
Only
never
speak
dealt.
from personal experience.
It's only from personal story. So I say I've seen that, and I've been actually a victim of it as well. I think I honestly, unbeknownst to every woman, she probably has been a role played that role before, where she was probably chosen over, or she was a light skinned woman was probably chosen over her, or even younger days when you're in school, elementary school, a little boy would see a light skinned curly hair girl he wanted over a darker complexion girl. And I think it does play a huge role into it. And I see it all the time with celebrities. I see it all the time. It's just like an epidemic nowadays. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean,
Oh, so
now
you
it's
calling the
like
niggas out? So
I'm
you said
calling
all
them
the.
out. I'm calling
So,
them out because I think all their women look alike. All of them. They
okay.
all they all look
So you say
alike.
all celebrity niggas,
They
all the
all
women they
and
fuck
I
with, all
said,
light skin.
listen, I said, are y'all getting the same women? Is that the same girl Chris Brown just had?
Huh?
Is that the same? Is that the same? You know what? When I see a celebrity, it's
Wow,
like a
they.
rarity. When I see a celebrity come out with a dark skinned woman, beautiful dark skinned complexion woman
Yeah,
that has full lips and has all the features of a dark skinned beautiful woman.
we don't
It's
get
like,
that. You saying you just
wow,
don't. You just
finally.
don't see that. You don't
No,
see
you
that.
don't say that. No,
Okay,
no.
okay, okay.
Oh,
I
it's
don't know.
just
I feel like you definitely got a lot of brothers who do reflect that. I mean, but I also think, of course, I mean, the question itself is it's really easy to answer. I mean, we definitely know that it plays, but it allows us to get into the conversation because first we got to admit that it's
absolutely,
there. We definitely got to
absolutely.
admit that it's there. So when you ask the question, does colorism play a role in relationships today? I'm gonna
Mhm.
have to. I mean, it's an emphatic yes, just like as much as everybody else has said. But on top of that, yes, um, I think because it's so embedded in how we operate and how shit move, it becomes one of them things where it happens. You don't even really know it. You know what I mean, you can't really speak to it. It's just like it's just you know that's just what I chose. You feel me? And so
Mhm. It's
it's
like a
hard to
sub.
have to.
It's like a subconscious thought. It's like
Yeah.
they don't think that they're doing it, but it's happening because they're pattern and what they're used to and what they're used to
Right,
seeing. Yeah,
right,
it's
right.
just like
And so
programmed.
niggas fuck around and not be able to help that shit, right? So let
Go
me
for
ask you this:
go for it. Let me hear it. Let
Is
me
it
hear it.
wrong? Is it wrong from your perspective to have a complexion preference? Do you think it is wrong to say I like light skin or I like dark skin? I prefer this or I prefer that.
I think it's wrong to put down another color in the process of liking who you like.
Okay.
Saying dark skinned girls do X, Y, and Z, dark skinned girls do this, dark skinned girls do that. I think that's wrong. Now, if you have your preference without putting down another skin complexion.
Okay. So it's how
So
you play it.
it's how you play it. So if my preference were dark skinned guys, I would just go after dark skinned guys. It's nothing against light skinned guys, but I like dark skinned guys. But I don't have a preference, honestly. I don't personally, but that's just what I'm saying hypothetically if that were to happen.
So I think I think ultimately, if you have a preference, it's come from some fucked up. You putting something down to do that, regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Or
Like,
maybe
and
you
I
had like
think,
a bad experience or something. Like,
yeah, or I mean, or even because it's like we know that the dark skin, we know that the light skin, dark skin, like oppression type relationship, it only go one way, right?
right,
Like,
right,
it's
right, right.
darker skinned women get the shorter end of the stick, lighter skinned women get the preference. One of my
Absolutely.
mama's favorite movies was Imitation of Life. And that whole
Mm,
movie was about, you know what I'm saying, this light skinned woman that had this really dark mama but could pass, and she was trying to pass through society. So it was funny. Like, that was a movie that I watched early on that had me kind of thinking about that stuff early on. And my mom's a lighter, you know what I'm saying, skinned woman,
mm-hmm.
complected. We say light skin like a motherfucker, but I'm okay with that colloquial language. I appreciate the colloquial
I
language of
appreciate
light
that
skin.
too. Ain't nothing
Yeah,
wrong with it. Ain't nothing
right.
wrong with it.
So
Look, ain't nothing
so
wrong with it.
yeah, look, I know that's how we rock. That's how we rock. So we know that, you know what I mean, even though, I think we know that it's fucked up to be like, I don't like dark skinned women. Like, that's just fucked up to say that. You know what I mean? Because it's like we live in a world that tells you not to like dark skinned women. So even if
Right,
you
right.
think it's just your preference, it's like, nah, you were taught that. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right.
Second, even if you flip it the other way and be like, nah, I don't like light skinned women, you know what I mean? Light skinned women don't deserve that, ultimately. And it's not that, oh, they're oppressed too. I won't go as far as to say light skinned people are also oppressed, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think light skinned women should be, or light skinned men for that matter, should be kind of like devalued because they are lighter skinned. It's not on the same level, but it's still the same politics playing out. And it's like, you can do it ultimately to have that preference. You are creating like a dichotomy between the two. So it's like anybody that respect blackness really just on some like, I love black women type shit. You can give them to me chocolate, you can give them to me vanilla. You feel me? Either way, caramel and everything in between. You know what I'm saying? Cookies and cream. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of it. Just give me all of it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, why? Like, why?
So,
Why even cut yourself off?
so let me
You know
ask
what
you
I mean?
this. Do you think that they think that lighter complexion makes them look better?
Uh, I, I do. I do. I do. I think. I mean, niggas used to say back in the day, like, she only cute because she light skinned.
Dang. Now we,
I've
hey,
heard niggas say,
now we figuring out y'all conversations y'all be having amongst each other.
yeah, niggas. I've heard niggas say that. I've heard niggas say
That's
she only cute because
crazy.
she light skinned. Yeah,
Yo, that's crazy. That's
that's real
crazy.
though. That's real. So it's like, yeah, like just being light skinned, just kind of, yeah. I mean, cause like you kind of in the middle.
Right.
You feel me? Like I would
I'm
say
like,
I would call you light skinned though.
I've always been called dark skin my whole life. But
Okay.
growing up, my mom used to, you know what, crazy story? My mom used to call me hot yellow growing up. But my family was dark skinned, dark complected. My sister, I have two sisters and a brother, and they are all dark complected, like probably a shade darker than you. And I was in my family considered light skinned, like considered
Yeah.
like next to them. So I would stick out like a sore thumb, and I was always called the light skinned one. But ideally, I'm not considered light skinned in society. I'm like caramel complected, and I've always been identified as dark
So
skinned
you in the
growing
middle.
up.
You in the middle.
Yeah, I'm always
Yeah.
confused about it. I call myself little caramel, little caramel.
Nah, I feel you. I had a similar upbringing. Like all my siblings are light skinned. And actually, if my sister watching, Tiffany, she used to call me whenever she'd make fun of me, my older sister, she would call me a spook. She'd be like, you getting on my nerves, you black
Uh,
spook. And I'm like, so I just grew up thinking like, damn, I'm dark. I'm a dark nigga. You feel me? I get to college. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers start calling a nigga red bone, that type of shit. I'm like, first of all, that's disrespectful. Cause that's how you talk about women. You know what I'm saying? Don't, you know what I'm saying? Put that don't put that on me. But
no, wait, hold on. I got a cousin named Redbone though. Shout out to Redbone. If you're watching this, shout out
it's
to
a
you.
man.
It's a man. His name is Redbone. So
Okay,
he
but you,
literally grew up calling him red bone. But he was super light. Like he's super light. Like he looked
yeah,
red.
yeah, right. But like to that, you feel me? And so, like I get to college, and it's like even my homeboy George, his wife, she called me that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, nah, like I don't see it at all because I grew up like that's how I was socialized.
Nah, I don't
So
give a
yeah,
hell about that.
I definitely see that difference. But let me ask you this though:
Go for it.
who do you think buy into the politics of colorism more? Who do you think do it more, men or women?
Easy.
Don't do that. It's not easy. Don't do that. I'm gonna
Nah,
ask you
listen.
again.
Go
I'm
ahead
gonna
and ask
ask
me
you again. I'm
again.
gonna ask you again.
Okay.
Who do you? Because let's be for real here. Who do you think play into the politics of colorism more?
Men.
Okay. Explain. Elaborate.
And
Elaborate.
listen, come on now. That's self-explanatory. Come on. Come on now. Like,
That ain't
okay,
fair.
let's do this.
No,
Let's do
yeah,
this.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Let's do this
The people
dance
want to know.
that you obviously know. Come on, people. Look at social media. Look at your music videos. Look at your rap videos. Look at your advertisement ads. Look at everything. They put either a Caucasian woman with beautiful hair and a nice petite figure or a lighter complected black woman if she is chosen for a role in a video, advertisement ad, a movie, whatever, they put her on. I've even heard as far as a men and entertainment and sports saying that they were so ashamed to show their dark complected woman because the Hollywood would not accept them. They would tell them to put a different woman on his arm to make it ideal for society. It had to be a lighter complected woman. I'm serious. Look it up. It's real hard, true facts right here. They would they would put when they
I mean, I'm not saying I don't
these
believe you.
video vixens, who do you see? They used to have the video vixens, and they used to be the light skin, long, pretty hair. I think even go I can go even as far as that's why women add extensions to their hair, and now they're doing things coloring their skin, making them a little lighter. They have
Man, look,
skin bleaching, all of these things.
I'm not.
They even go down to having our culture from Africa creating skin bleaches to make themselves ideal for society. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. That was loaded.
I was gonna try to make a case.
That was loaded.
Hold on. Let me see if I can
Hey,
defend my brothers out here.
that ain't even
Let me see if I can defend my brothers. Let me see if I can
go
defend my
for it.
brothers.
Go for it.
Hold on. Come back to me. Come back to me. Come back to me. Go, what was you about to say? Come back to me. Go
It's no,
finish.
it's listen, I don't think there's no refutations on this. You cannot refute something that you see consistently. Every day in society, they're showing us that colorism is alive and true to this day. They're showing it in
So
advertising.
you think,
They
but
would want to put a woman, and it's always a woman. There's always a woman because obviously they use women as sex symbols. However,
right,
when you really
right.
want to make something appealing, they would have and they would make it a lighter complected woman or a Caucasian woman. I mean, we used to
So
think about them going from a white woman, a Caucasian woman, and
yeah.
going all the way down to choosing a black woman. Think of how far we had to go to actually get a dark complexion woman to play a movie role or to be
Okay.
seen in arms. Think of how
Okay.
long Snoop
You are
Dogg
winning
did
this
not
argument.
show his wife.
You okay?
When
You
did
winning.
we
You
know
winning.
Snoop Dogg's wife was
You
black, was
winning.
dark skin?
Okay, you
We
winning.
did
You
not
winning. Winning.
know. All right,
Okay, I'll say this. I'll say
all
this.
right,
I'll say this.
okay.
Okay, wait. When it comes to okay, I'm not gonna say. So you saying you think so? What? So who are you saying play into it more?
Black
Is it the
men.
women? Is it so it's not the women for changing themselves to fit that? You saying it's the men?
Listen, I think in order to make herself more ideal to be chosen, because guess what? A dark skinned black woman, obviously she's going to be black, but a dark skinned woman is probably the last to be chosen in dating.
Mm,
The last. And don't let her be established. She's the last. Don't
okay,
let her be established.
okay, okay. Let me ask you this then. Let me because you win that. You win that. Like that ain't even.
I didn't even have to pull out my guns.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You was good on it. You was good on it. That's I
Yeah,
give you that.
yeah. All right,
So let me ask you this though.
all right.
What are what are some ways that you have been responsible for colorism?
Like personally, like with men, or just
yeah,
like being a victim
yeah,
of
yeah.
it.
Well, like for example, what do you think about light skinned men?
I think my preference is mine. I'm a mind person. If you can rule me with your mindset
So you don't pay
and
no attention to
your
complexion
person, no,
at all.
I've dated light skin, dark skin. I dated Hispanic. I've dated you name it. I've dated. I don't
You
have.
dated a white
If
man?
you are in,
Ah.
what's my microphone now?
Yeah. All right, look. I'm gonna let you plead the fifth on that one. I'm gonna let
Fifth,
you plead the
the
fifth on that.
fifth, the one, two, three,
Yeah,
four, fifth.
yeah.
Yes,
The
yes,
fifth, yes.
yes.
So knowing that you've ran the gamut, you know
All
what I'm
right,
saying?
all right.
You the rainbow. You got your
The
Skittles on.
I dated a
Uh,
Haitian before. Yeah.
I mean, a Haitian is just like a nigga though. A Haitian
I
is a
mean,
nigga
yeah,
from an island.
yeah, from an island,
Yeah,
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 island
yeah, yeah.
with a little voodoo in them.
So, but you ain't never been like, okay, I ain't gonna act like that's not possible just because I think goofy shit. Because
No.
I ain't gonna lie, as a nigga who was considered dark skinned, at
Mhm,
least when compared to my family, my brothers and sisters,
mhm,
I always like the whole that fight. I took up a side. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Like I was team dark skin, and then Tez, like that's like my brother. He was light skinned, so we was like the opposites. You know what I mean? So like when we would joke, the complexion would play a huge role into it. Just how we would, you know what I'm saying, just make fun of each other. So I mean, I definitely look at all light skinned niggas with a particular, like in a particular light. You know what I'm saying? Like light skinned niggas soft. You feel me? All of that type of shit.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but it's like
Do you
it's
think?
cultural.
Do you think it's a connotation around like light skin, dark skin?
I definitely I do. I even like amongst men because like I know a large part of the conversation that we've been having has been tied up in like the impact that it's had on women. But I feel like a divide between darker men and lighter skinned men, it's odd like that. It's a beef just based on how each other perceive. You feel me? Like I think like I said, in my boy Nino Brown, let it be known. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to trust them pretty motherfuckers. You it ain't supposed to be done. You know what I mean? And so it's
Ooh.
like that's one of them things where it's like even as much as I challenge colorism,
Uh-huh.
I ain't gonna say always. Maybe one day I'm gonna grow up and be better than what I am today. But I'm
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna make fun of light skinned niggas. You feel me? Like light
I'm
skin.
gonna need you. I'm gonna need you to grow up. Nah. I mean, you know what? Do you have a preference when it comes to, well, let me go back. Did you have a preference? This is a married man, yeah, I'm sorry. Did you have a preference when dating for women?
When it came to women, in terms of
Yeah.
dating, did I have a preference?
Yeah.
No, no, I did not
Okay.
have a preference.
So you dated
I
what
was a.
women?
No, I mean, no, in terms of sisters,
Oh, okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. In terms of sisters, you know
He
what I'm saying?
clarified that.
That's a conversation for another day.
It is a conversation for
that's a
another day.
that's a conversation for a whole
We
new
we're
episode.
both gonna plead the fifth on that one for now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. For right now,
All right,
but
that's
when it
cool.
came to like sisters, it was nah. I just like my mama was light skinned. You know what I'm saying? Like my mama was light skinned, my dad was dark skinned, but my grandmother was darker, you know what I'm saying, was a darker skinned woman. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? And like I don't like you can't say like I don't like I have a preference about women and then look at your your mother or your grandmother and you got and nigga like you got dark skinned women in your family. So it's just like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
You
it's
know, I had a
because
conversation with somebody about that. Like
yeah,
it was someone that's very close to me,
yeah.
and their preference is a lighter skinned women and white women. And they said because dark
My pop's
skinned
preference.
women
My pop's
do,
preference is white women now too. Shout out to my pops. See?
yeah, yeah, yeah. They like their preference is that because they had a bad experience with a darker complected woman, and it was terrible for them to view. It was very vague as well, but
Mm.
also terrible for them to view it that way. So it was crazy how sometimes men, and also the relationships with their mother, with their dark complected mother, what relationship do they have with their mom to make them want to choose like that? Or even, oh man, that's another conversation. I'm going too
Yeah,
deep.
yeah,
I'm
yeah. I
going
know.
too deep. I'm
Because
about
look, I
to,
know where you're going. I know where you're going. And look, I say
yeah,
it like this
yeah,
because I have
yeah.
such. I'll admit it's certain things that like I looked up. I had a good mama. I don't know about other niggas. I had a good mama. You feel me?
Hmm.
So the traits that I see and that I saw in my mother, I'll admit, like those are the traits. But that's because my mama was a hustler. She owned her own business. I mean, she
Mm,
made her own money. She took care.
mm,
She took care of her kids. Like I my upbringing, I appreciate it. Even though we grew up in the hood, we kind of grew up. We grew up in the same, what I'm saying, same neighborhood.
right.
So even though we grew up where we grew up, it was like shit. I don't feel like that. Like my mama, like she was a boss. My mama demanded shit. She
I
was a nag
like
too.
that.
I
Yeah, I
love my
like
mama.
that.
I love my mama to death, but boy, she run her mouth like a motherfucker, boy. My mama will,
Don't they
you know what
all?
I'm saying?
Don't
Like,
they
boy, I
all?
mean, but I'm telling you, my mama will nag her ass off to like that, like to the point to where this day I don't do nagging. I be telling my wife like, don't do
Mm.
that, don't do that. So wait till we can have this
Ooh.
conversation.
So,
Yeah, I do it respectfully though. I not like I talk to, what I'm saying. I don't talk to my
right.
wife while I do it respectfully.
Hmm.
But you know what I'm saying? So when it comes and that's why I'm saying, like, because my mama was like a lighter skinned woman, you feel
Hmm.
me? It was just like I had appreciation for light skinned women, but then my grandmother, my great grandmother, there are darker women. So it's like, what I'm gonna
Hmm.
say? I got nothing bad to say about dark women at all. They
Right.
all beautiful. That's where I came
Hmm.
from, creation.
Hmm.
And I'm a darker skinned nigga. You feel me? So it's
Right.
like,
Right.
you know,
Right.
well,
So,
some people would say so. It depends on the summertime.
so let me ask you this: do you think the origins of colorism is racism?
Definitely. Well, we definitely got to let's. I guess we should have a responsible conversation too, right? Uh, definitely.
I would love to have the responsible
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah, 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 yeah. I still want to make fun of color stereotypes, but anyway, we'll do. Because like what they say about dark skinned niggas. What do they say about dark skinned niggas? Nothing, because we the shit.
I don't know. They
Nothing.
got some. They got some stories about some dark. I've heard both sides, and they can get pretty. They can get pretty intense, but
But we're not gonna
it's
play
some.
into them politics. We're gonna have a
Nah, but it's
responsible
funny. It
conversation.
is funny. The ones about light skin is funny. I've seen one meme that's it was so funny. It's like how light skinned men take a picture and like he had accidentally fell and he was it was when I
Yeah,
tell
hey,
you it was funny. The dude was falling, but he was like posing at the
yeah.
same. It was funny. He said like it
That's
was
what
funny. I've
that's where
seen
the
some
best
funny
shit
ones.
come from. I've seen
I've
some.
seen.
That's what I'm saying. I think the dark skinned nigga memes got to do with dark skinned niggas being grimy.
Yeah.
Uh, but I feel like since the '90s, dark skinned niggas been on top. Like
Eh?
once Denzel and Wesley started to, what I'm saying, take over the game. I mean, you had niggas like Shamar Moore and all them other type of niggas. You know what I mean? Make a little impact, but dark
I
skinned
like
niggas been running shit since the '90s.
like Malcolm
So
X.
we gonna, yeah,
That's my baby right there.
that's your that's your revolutionary boo.
I love me some Malcolm. I love me
Detroit
some Malcolm.
Red.
If there's any Malcolms on here, holla at me.
My nigga Key said he a Malcolm. If he listening, he
Hey,
probably gonna put in the chat, "Hey, babe, I'm Malcolm, like a motherfucker. He a wild nigga."
I definitely
Shut-
love me a Malcolm. You listen, no color preference, just the mentality.
Respect. But to get into the conversation, the responsible conversation, I just had to get in. I had to get the rest of my colorism jokes out. Like I prepared too many of them for us to just not get them all
Not get
done.
into it.
But in terms of the role racism played, definitely. Uh, when we look at why lighter skin is preferred, is because of its relationship to who the lighter skinned people is. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And even when we speak from, I'm gonna get a little deep with y'all. This is a word
Oh,
called epistemology.
mm,
Epistemology, and
mm,
that is the study of how do we know what we know? The study of how we
mm,
learn,
mm,
study of knowledge, right?
mhm,
And within the epistemology of Western society, specifically, even more specifically, the United States,
mhm,
the light and dark have very specific connotations.
mhm.
Um, and those connotations stem from the way that lighter skinned people, white people, specifically during the time of colonialism, reflected the darker skin of the people that they came into contact with, living in a more in touch with nature. They created a negative binary. They created a
Uh-huh.
negative relationship, and we've adopted that.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So we look at light as better, dark as worse. But that's only as a part of the racist structures that dictate our society.
Okay. I like that. I like that a
I
lot.
mean, I like what I was saying. I like the jokes better, but sometimes we got to get that out too. You know what I'm saying?
Let me hear the dark skin jokes because I ain't hear no dark skin jokes. I
I
just
don't
heard
know
light skin.
none. I just wanted to flex on them niggas. I
What
don't
you
know
what?
none. I don't know none.
Now that is so biased. How you gonna just come with the light skin?
Cause I
Listen,
don't know none.
listen. I want to hear the dark skin jokes since I was considerably light skinned.
Hey,
I gotta choose right now, and I want to hear some dark skin jokes
hey,
because
hey, George, and we got whoever in the chat. Put some dark. If y'all, what have y'all heard about dark skinned niggas?
yeah.
Since I've came to bias, and since obviously she ain't heard nothing bad about dark skinned niggas either.
Mm,
If you
mm.
watching, put in the chat. What are some things that y'all have heard about? What's the dark skinned nigga stereotypes? Now let's put it all out there. It's like a bonfire. We putting it all out there so we can burn it up. We getting rid of
Look,
it.
I'm having
Like
my
we
little
we burning the
bonfire right here.
sage. You feel me?
Got
Right.
the
Like we
sage
doing
as an incense. I gotta get my
exactly. We
I gotta get in my zen.
right. So while we getting in the zen, while we getting, let's just put it out there. Let's get it out. You know what I'm
Get
saying?
it out.
What are some things we heard about dark skins? Now, the only thing really I could think of is what they dusty. You know what I'm saying? Like, which is a stretch. You feel me? Um, what else?
I don't know. I haven't, you know what?
That's
That's
it.
hard. I haven't really heard
Yeah.
anything about dark skin.
Yeah, because we that nigga, because we those niggas. You know what
Oh
I'm
my
saying? Like,
God.
yeah, we
Listen,
those
people,
niggas.
to be clear, I don't have a preference in color. I have a mind. I have a mind preference. I
A
have a mind
mind
preference.
preference. She has
Yes,
a mind preference.
mind
Okay, that
preference.
and that's cool. That's respectful.
Yes.
But I mean, I really only brought that up to say I don't think it ain't nothing bad we can say about dark skinned niggas. So we might
He
as well,
stand corrected.
you know what I'm saying?
He
So we
stand
might as well
corrected.
go ahead and continue to touch on this conversation of racism because I want to hear your opinion because I study, that's one of the things that I pay a lot of attention to. Racism is something that I would consider myself a critical race theorist. That's the field of study. It's a field of philosophy that I partake in. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, as well as politics, but that's like the frame by which I see shit. Um, but from your perspective, how would you speak to the origins of colorism in black relationships?
Um, the origins of colorism, as far as racism is concerned.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, yeah, like I said before, I think we do have it. I mean, it basically derived from racism, being that that's what we seen and that's what that was taught to us, the lighter complected person got treated better and was deemed more beautiful or more appealing back in slavery, and when that transferred over to the status quo today, we're talking about what we're dealing with as far as like black women or darker complected women having a stigma around them, or people creating a stigma around the darker complected woman when they depict a dark, or when they depict a angry black mother. Oftentimes she is darker complected. When they depict a
Mhm.
woman on welfare, oftentimes she is a darker complected woman. Except for Halle
Mhm.
Berry on that one losing Isaiah. We're gonna Halle Berry on
Look,
losing Isaiah do not count.
yeah, yeah, right.
However,
We're gonna leave that alone.
we gonna leave that one alone. But like I said, they depict darker complex. Now there is some stigmas around that. Like we do have jokes around darker complected women. Like we couldn't find any for darker complected men, but we do have some for darker complected women. When you depict a darker complected woman, you will see a lot of stereotypes surrounding her.
Right, 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 right.
Welfare, homelessness, a lot of, multiple men, multiple kids' fathers living on the state, housing,
Which
whatever.
is definitely something that I think we should take more serious. I do joke about like that kind of dichotomy with black men,
Hmm.
because I don't think it's as detrimental. I mean,
Yeah,
to a degree, right?
to a
But
degree.
I think sisters get it much worse though.
Oh
I
yeah, we
think
get
sisters get it
depicted
much worse.
when they depict us, and then when a man sees that consistently in the media, on TV, everywhere, what do you think he says to himself subconsciously when he want to choose a mate? I'm not going to choose
Right,
that woman. Look what society has painted her as.
right,
I'm not going to choose a darker complected woman. Society already told me she ain't shit.
right,
Society already told me she wasn't beautiful enough to stand beside me on my arm.
right, right.
She
So
wasn't
yeah, I
gonna
mean,
be. Why should I accept her if society didn't accept her?
yeah, and that's one thing that niggas definitely need to take more serious when we have this conversation is that, like, and that's why I was saying earlier, you can't really separate the conversation of having a preference away from the politics of racism,
You
because
can't.
ultimately, the way that we've been socialized, that preference stems from either reacting to a bias or buying into that bias, and so
No,
ultimately,
coincides
right, yeah. So ultimately, shit, we just need to embrace black people. God damn it, like it's all
all
different
together.
shades.
I thank
Yeah.
you. There you
Yeah, it's
go.
all different shades of like when you go to the continent, it's so many different shades of black people that to say
Mm,
that you need to have this complexion in order to be considered black is extremely fucking problematic. I mean, and it's not representative of what the continent looked like itself. And so even though we know that that oppression, that light to dark oppression really only flows one way,
hmm.
when also and we can't respond to that as darker skinned people respond to that out of resentment and attempting to deny another group they blackness, because that
Mm,
shit ain't, what I'm saying, that shit ain't real either. So it's a lot of ways to navigate the conversation, and I think it's been some interesting things that we've touched on today.
I
Hopefully,
did.
anything that we've said about in turn the certain complexions at all, it's
Hmm.
all, it's jokes, but at the same time, like that relevance that those jokes have, we got to be careful. You know what I mean? Because that shit kind of
Hmm.
play out in real life. And so, if we're gonna
Hmm.
have productive relationships, if we're gonna have productive conversations as black people, we
Hmm.
definitely need to move away from using colorism as any type of guideline, or using like complexion as any type of guideline for romance, for friendship, for blackness, all of that shit. Anything you want to
I
add
got a
to that?
question.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you? Let me add to this. Let me ask this question to add to it. Do you think that it's a preference or is it a prejudice? I was doing some research while you were talking, and I just came across that question, and they said they think that it's subconscious programming, that it is a prejudice and not a preference.
That's a good question. Is it prejudice or is it preference? Is it prejudice or is it preference? I would say prejudice.
Mm,
I would say prejudice.
wow, that
I
wasn't even
would.
hard. You didn't even. You didn't even have to think about it.
It wasn't because I feel like ultimately we don't think through enough of how our biases play out and why they play out the way that they do. I think
Absolutely.
people are like our age, our generation, we more reflective of that type of shit. But
Hmm.
ultimately, we also are receptive to buying, playing back into the old shit, buying back into the
Uh,
bullshit. So it's like ultimately sometimes we end up embracing things that we think are decisions that we're making on our own, but if you don't recognize the role that socialization plays in what you think is your decision making, then you
hmm.
failed. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have a good enough grasp of the impact that society has on your way of thinking to be able to
Hmm.
say that your decision is void
Hmm.
of the social bias. That's why any preference would be considered prejudice.
Woo!
Black women,
That was
black
loaded. That was
people
loaded.
are
That was
beautiful.
loaded.
Yeah.
Black people are beautiful.
You know,
Listen,
that
black
was off the
people,
top of the
listen.
dome. You know what I'm
Listen,
saying? Off the top of the dome.
my beautiful, enlightened black people, you will miss out on your husband or wife being prejudiced or having a preference to a different color, a specific
Mm.
color, shall I say. So, man, you know what? I say get to know someone. Just get to know them, get to know who they are. You never know how much you will love that person outside of their skin complexion. You might fall in love with that person. They can be dark as tar or they can be light as the sun. But
Yeah.
hey, look on the inside before you look on the outside. That's all I say.
Right. Right. Just love people.
Just love us all, embrace us
So
all.
facts.
Hey, you're
Um.
gonna have one of the hey, you're gonna have what they call the Eve's gene. You keep messing around. What they call the Eve's gene when you have the darker complected kids, they call it the Eve's
Oh yeah.
gene, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I
So
mean, see, I
you're
ain't think
gonna
no
have
wrong.
two light skinned people with the Eve gene, and they gonna have that dark baby, and they gonna love it. You're gonna have to love it. God gonna force you to love it.
You ain't got no choice.
Yeah, yeah.
But moving on to loving blackness.
Mm,
Moving on to loving blackness, we definitely gotta pay respects to Chadwick Boseman.
mm,
And you know what he meant to the black community. He passed of colon cancer. It was like over the weekend. Like I think it was
yeah.
like Friday or
On
something like that.
Friday, yeah, Friday.
And it was a shock to everybody because wasn't nobody in his business like that,
Mm,
or he wasn't having his business out like that.
mm.
So
It's
respect
very
to
important.
respect to him and his team and everybody who held him down and didn't really put his shit out there like that. Um, but I think for me personally, um, one I want to point out that Chadwick Boseman was literally I made a post on Facebook and I said if you check his resume, the man was Black History on film. He
What makes
played
him Black History to you? I want to
he
hear this.
played
I want to hear that
Jackie Robinson.
catalog. Oh,
He played Jackie Robinson.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? 42. He played James Brown
Mm,
in Get On Down or something like that. And then he
mm-hmm.
also played Thurgood Marshall
I
in
love him.
Marshall. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like three icons
Mm,
in black culture. And then
mm-hmm.
on top of that, he played the fucking Black Panther. I think like even in terms of like modern actors and what they represented on screen, you really can't think of nobody like who was blacker on TV or on movies. You can't think of nobody who was blacker on movies than Chadwick Boseman. So,
Wow.
but
Wow.
I mean, can
No.
you think of yeah?
No.
So
I think Denzel kind of got to have a good catalog.
I mean, because well, we talk that's Denzel. I'm talking about
Oh,
like
okay.
in terms of modern, like within the
Modern. Okay,
last six,
modern.
7
Okay.
years. Yeah,
They said I heard he did 9 movies since 2017 or something like
yeah,
that.
he did. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm
That's
saying.
crazy.
And then all the shit that he was in, it was just well, not all of, because I think he had like 22 bridges or something like that.
Hmm. I
Um,
watched seen that one too. I love that one.
yeah, yeah. So, but he great resume though.
Hmm.
But his biggest impact was what he did as Black Panther.
Hmm.
Now, this fucked me up personally because I mean, for niggas that don't know, and I kind of already announced it, I'm a huge comic book fan.
Mm.
And so I've been, Black Panther has been one of my favorite my favorite superheroes since I was a kid. Now the one thing I want to dispel is it's a lot of niggas running around talking about, well, we finally had us a black superhero. It's been black superheroes. We had Black Panther since the fucking 60s. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? Like literally Stan Lee and them niggas introduced Black Panther during the time of the civil rights movement.
Right, right.
So they've been there. It's just a matter of them getting the
Modernizing it.
screen time, yeah,
Right, right,
giving them the
right.
exposure and
Mm-hmm.
making them more mainstream. So
Right.
uh as a comic book fan myself, I think the crazy phenomenon is happening. Somebody that grew up watching comics, somebody who watched all the comic book cartoons, and had all the action figures, is just a lot of little kids right now
Mm.
that you see on social media that are holding these action figure memorials
Mm.
where Black Panther is being memorialized with all his colleagues in
Mm-hmm.
action figures standing around him. And for me personally, the reason why it touched me was because that would have been me as a kid. I
Mm.
had boxes and boxes of
That's
action figures
beautiful.
like that. Yeah, I had
Mm.
boxes and boxes of action figures like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I had all of the different Wolverines and I had the Black Panthers,
Um,
the Iron Mans, the Fantastic Fours. I mean, they had Captain America and all that shit. When I was a kid, we didn't give a fuck about Captain America. It was all about the X-Men.
whoa.
Um, but yeah, so so for me personally, seeing that personally, it kind of struck a nigga because I'm like, damn, I feel that hurt. I feel
Right.
that pain. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, from your perspective though, I want to know, um, what do you think about his impact? From a non-nerd perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think about his impact as Black Panther? What how it's been beneficial for Black people? If you want to speak on that.
I think for one, he brought us together. He brought us together for that movie. We got the best fits, the best garments. He created the fantastical place, Wakanda, and gave us somewhere to escape to mentally. For that alone was a huge impact on our culture. And then, as mentioned, he modernized a black superhero. I mean, we had a lot of obviously a lot of black superheroes that was theoretically black superheroes, but a real life black superhero where um he
You can see
impact
him.
little, yeah, he was tangible. It
It was a
made the
real person.
kids
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, made the kids feel like they didn't have to go pick up a 1960 magazine to find out that there was a black superhero once upon a time. And then
Mhm.
Ryan Coogler came in and depicted and created and made conspicuous our first black superhero
Yeah.
that we
He
know today. I
Yeah,
mean,
brought it into reality. But
brought
I
to
mean,
you,
it's
yeah,
fantasy still.
everyone.
But seeing like, cause I say this. Let me tell. I'm gonna tell you my comic book nerd story.
Oh God, let me tell you, let
So
me hear. You had to get the first edition. So
man,
you had to
not
get the
even
first
first edition.
edition.
Not even first edition. This is movie shit, right? So best believe, like, but when the Marvel movies first started coming together, my
Mm-hmm.
head was like going crazy
Mm-hmm.
because the comic book universes were always connected, but to see them now connected in movies, the movies was always one shot. They always did their own shit.
Mm-hmm.
Heroes never really interacted. So to see them kind of start to interact in movies is like, oh shit. So when I knew that the Avengers movie was coming out, I lost my shit. Like I'm a grown man.
What? Mm-hmm.
I'm a man at this time. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, oh shit, the Avengers. This that. So
you can you can get more excited than the kids, huh?
man, I was 10 times more excited to get. I'm older than them. I waited longer for this shit. What you talking about?
You're silly. They didn't have to wait for this.
Yeah, nah,
Hey
shit.
kids, if y'all was wondering where all the tickets went to, he bought them.
Man, shit. I every time pre-ordered and shit. Listen, I did everything but the motherfucking midnight screening. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But so when Avengers first dropped, I went to it. I went to it the opening night. And when we got there, the movie starting. I'm hype. And then like part way through the beginning of the movie, this woman show up with her son, and she clearly drunk. Like she clearly drunk. Like
No.
the little boy holding her hand, helping her get up to, you know what I'm saying, to the seat.
Yo.
So they get to the seat and shit, and she just starts making all the different type of noise, like talking to the little nigga, doing shit on her phone, trying to open up food all out. And this bitch sitting right in front of me. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, oh, she is ruining the experience. She is ruining the experience. And so this is probably the only time I snitched. I went and got a usher
No,
and was
he
like,
snitched.
hey,
You
y'all gotta
gotta
come get
go.
her. Y'all gotta come get
You
her.
gotta
She
go.
fucking up the movie. You feel me? She
There we
fucking up the
have it,
movie.
people. There we
You
have
know?
it. There is
And
a
so
time to snitch.
hey, shit, get her the fuck up out of
When
here. So
and
they came in after me. They came in after me. I sit in my seat. They walking up the stairs. I'm pointing like that's her right here. That's her right here. You know what I'm
Boucher,
saying?
Boucher.
So hey, but that's how serious I take this shit. And so, seeing Black Panther come to life like that, and man, seeing Africa like that, seeing like Africa depicted like that, somebody get like literally taking the respect to show that. Like to me, I feel like as much as we loved it, it was so underappreciated. Actually, I take that back. It wasn't. We loved it. We fucked with
No,
it tough.
hey,
Yeah, we loved it.
listen, we had record breaking numbers for that movie. That movie was like one of the
We
best
loved it.
movies Marvel did. Black people
Yeah,
came together on that. They was like the presidential election Obama first term. Good.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was that good.
It was.
I
It was. I mean, to say that, girl, you shit making a nigga
I
dizzy.
done burnt
Uh,
myself. I burnt myself in my incense.
on the instant, yeah,
Yeah,
well, you got to
I'm
be
good.
careful. Uh, but yeah, I would literally put to say that the movie was on that level, like Obama being elected. I
Yeah,
would agree
it
with
was
you.
that. It was that.
I would.
It
I
was
would.
it was
That was
first
that was one
term.
thing. Yeah, that was one thing with
Yeah,
like it was unanimous. We
yeah,
fuck with Black Panther.
yeah, yeah.
We fuck with it
I'm
tough.
talking about. Listen, I got a Black Panther mask I was gonna wear. I can't find it, but I got a Black Panther whole mask and a hoodie that I got ready for. I bought some shoes. I bought a hoodie. I bought a mask. I bought the whole ensemble to wear to the movie theater on the opening day
You know
of
what?
Black Panther.
This may be the only Halloween where the costume for a hero, you know what I'm saying, is gonna be as big as it was
Biggest
when the movie
when the
first
movie
came
came,
out.
absolutely.
This gonna be the only time
Yeah.
you were gonna see just as many, if not more, little kids be Black Panther.
Uh,
You know what I mean? In this upcoming Halloween, than even probably even from even more than when it came out.
I think so.
So
I think even more. I mean, I think it's monumental now. I think it's really
shit, I'm
like
gonna be black. I'm telling y'all niggas right now. I'm gonna be Black Panther for Halloween. Fuck what y'all talking about. I'm gonna
I
find the
need you to.
suit with the muscles and shit to wrap. I'm really in there,
Uh-huh.
like, you know what I'm saying, with the mask and shit. Think it's a
King
game.
T'Challa.
You know
King
what I'm saying?
T'Challa.
Think it's a
I
game.
like it. I like it. I think that's needed. I think for the and I think right around this time it's the opportune time for them to represent, for them to pay homage to Chadwick. And
Yeah.
Halloween is coming up. I think you're gonna see a lot of kings coming out, even in their garments, to pay homage to what he did for our culture, what impact he made. Man, that's movie is big. Moving forward, what do you think is gonna happen? Like for the sequel.
I mean, I think it's gonna go on. I mean, it's Hollywood. You recast. You just kind of you do what you do.
Do you think it's gonna be the
I think
same?
the only well, I mean, I think the only reason it's a question of how do you recast it is because we had such a personal relationship with it.
Yeah.
Like in most cases, like it was a new Batman every year up until Christopher Nolan. Like when you go back to Michael Keaton's Batman, like the first Batman Returns,
Uh-huh.
then it was uh Val Kilmer, then it
Mhm.
was what's the nigga name? George Clooney.
Mhm.
I mean, so it's like, with superhero movies, you kind of used to the recast at this point. We didn't have three different Spider-Mans, so
Mhm.
you used to that.
Yeah,
But I think
I did. Yeah.
because yeah, but I think because we had such a personal relationship, like, and we saw that face and that man, like the man, even as a real person, like reflected like that real relationship, and he knew
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Um, it's gonna be kind of hard to do that, but you got to.
You have to.
You gotta because the story still gotta be told. The story still gotta be told. And T'Challa as a character still lives on. So even though, we hurt that we lost Chadwick, what he did was he gave us that truth.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, like, it's not this the spirit of T'Challa, not just me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that this is like the evolution of like the thought and the relationship between black people in Africa. Because I think what was interesting that niggas don't really speak enough about was the reason why niggas was so quick to embrace Killmonger is because there is an underlying resentment in terms of understanding the
I was
relationship
about
that
to
black.
say I kind of understood Killmonger's frustration and anger as
Nah,
well.
we all did. We all
He was
did.
the
But
most understanding villain I've ever seen
ever,
in a
ever.
movie.
Yeah.
Understanding villain. You can
Yeah,
understand his pain.
without a doubt. But but what I think though is that what ended up happening was we did too much of pitting them against each other instead of
Hmm.
understanding that T'Challa came to at the end of the movie, and it's
Right.
like, nah, like, we not enemies, regardless of, like, even if we have a disagreement on beliefs, we not enemies ultimately. So I feel like that's the impact of the legacy of what he left. And
Hmm.
to be an actor and to have some movie shit make that much of an impact,
Yeah.
that's legendary. It's
Legendary.
big.
Hey, listen. He definitely left a mark on society. He will never be forgotten. His legacy lives on. Like
Mm-hmm.
it can't be, it won't be gone.
Undis-
He will
and it
live
can't
on through,
be
yeah,
dismissed. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Big
Yeah.
ups to him.
Straight up.
Rest
Man,
in power, Killmonger, not Killmonger, I'm sorry. Yeah, Killmonger
T'Challa,
too.
King T'Challa. Right,
We
right.
just
Rest in peace to Killmonger like a
Killmonger
motherfucker.
too. But yeah, yeah, Chadwick.
Yeah, rest in
He's
peace,
literally
bro.
correct.
I cried about it. I ain't gonna lie. I cried about it.
Uh,
And I was trying to figure out, is it 2020 or am I just getting emotional in my old fucking age?
yeah,
Cause it's just a
we
lot, you know. Cause
we got
Kobe
all the emotion. Yeah, it was a
with the
lot. We had
passing of
Nipsey.
Kobe,
We had
and then
Nipsey last year. We had Kobe.
yeah,
It's been a
at
long
the beginning
road.
of the year. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah. So
from last year to this year with Nipsey, that was a big one. Kobe, that was a big one. Chadwick, that was a big one. Not saying anybody else dead, that was not, but just to
yeah,
know, yeah,
on top of the pandemic, and then just all the
yeah,
people that's been lost because of
yeah,
the pandemic, it's
yeah.
like, ooh, this is slap.
All
Y'all
the
really
stuff.
fucking with us. Y'all
George
really fucking with us.
Floyd, we had a lot.
Yeah,
It's been a
yeah.
lot. It's been an intense year.
And
It's
that's
been
why I
a
want
little
to tell
tough.
y'all, hey, I love y'all. You
I
feel me?
love
Everybody that
y'all.
was able to tune in today. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do this with you,
Yeah,
Tisha.
yeah, I
Because
love
it's
y'all.
a beautiful conversation, great opportunity. You know what I mean? I love being able to kind of get into this. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, I
yeah.
don't know if the sage
All right,
is
don't start
affecting me over
crying.
here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me
Don't start crying. It's
I'm
okay.
okay. I'm
If you cry, I'm gonna cry.
okay.
Nah, this is beautiful
Yeah.
though. This is
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Hey, so hey, and I did this, and I typically don't do this, but I posted a status on Facebook. I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
All right.
everybody, hey, if you follow the chat or if you follow the Over 30 podcast, you know what I'm saying? If you follow Tisha and myself,
Yes,
we love y'all and we do
we
this for
love
y'all.
y'all. We
And
do.
everybody that tuned in today, we definitely appreciate y'all joining us in the conversation. Y'all pay attention throughout the week. We're gonna be able to dice this up, how this going through. Again, if you don't follow the YouTube, if you ain't subscribed to the YouTube, go to our YouTube page,
Go to the
the Over
YouTube.
30 Podcast. And
Yeah.
if you just Google the Over 30 podcast, you will find us. That means we at the top
Oh,
of the shit. Ain't nobody else doing it
oh,
like us. We kind of got some
oh
dope shit.
man. Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
listen, we got
Google
the natal.
us.
Google us. We got the natal readings coming up. We got everything. We got some
Yes.
hot topics coming
And
up for
if you
next week.
want your natal chart read, I'm telling you.
I'm your
If you
girl.
want your life changed, I'm telling you. Tune
I'm
in.
your
Y'all
girl.
pay it. We'll have a date. We'll have a date. It'll be within the next week or so, since this is already the first episode for September. But definitely thank y'all for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Please like the page, follow the page, the Over 30 Podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Anything you want to say to the people before we dip out?
Yeah, it's me, Infinite Omniscient again, your spiritual life coach, your holistic expert, your speaker, and your educator. Hit me up on all my social media platforms. Like I said at the beginning, Infinite Omniscient and Infinite Stars Holistic Healing, Infinite Stars Incorporation. I'm sorry.
All of that.
Um, and your Over 30 podcast. We out.
Yes. Yes.
We out.
We out.
We need to play some